Donald Trump apparently has been giving at least a little bit of thought to the capacity that he can think about how to stem the tide of the women that are turning against him post the death of Roe. And a fascinating way that researchers have identified his attempts to stop scaring them quite as much is how he talks about the topic of abortion. And so there's an analysis that we're gonna look at of his statements on abortion before and after the Dobbs decision. So you can see it in those paired columns. The left column is how many times he would make these comments before Roe v. Wade was killed, and the right is after it. And so saying that abortion is an important issue, he said it 122 times before the decision, only 19 times after. Suddenly, it's not so important. Everybody needs to move on. You're not even gonna be thinking about it, baby. Anyway, identifying as pro-life 59 times before Dobbs, only 7 times after. Suddenly, the guy who tells it like it is and is unfiltered has a bit more of a filter for his identification as pro-life. Supporting federal restrictions 50 times before Dobbs, only 1 time after. He wants to pretend he's never supported federal restrictions. Oh, he did dozens of times before. He now talks way more often about exceptions for rape, incest, and survival, which are effectively meaningless in practice. Favoring state solutions, not something he gave a damn about before Dobbs. Now it's all he talks about. Opposing federal restrictions, he had never made a comment about that in his public statements before Dobbs. Now he talks about it constantly. The only thing that he has stayed consistent on is that it's the Democrats that are radical, 148 times before Dobbs, 144 after. So Is he not merciful when it comes to pretending we're the ones with the problem?
Well, this is what's wild, if the Democrats did something, as brazen, but in a good way, right? Restoring the Voting Rights Act. I mean, that's not that brazen. Codifying Roe v. Wade, passing the PRO Act. What about passing the Voting Rights Act? Passing the George Floyd the Justice and Policing Act. Like, if there were things that raising the minimum wage, the things that we want to do, the things that we need to do, the things that with a majority in the Senate, inshallah, we could do, we would talk nothing about it. If we successfully pass it, I mean, it's been 10 years since Obamacare was passed, and sadly, because I think that needs a massive improvement, Democrats are still talking about it, right? The fact that Republicans and Donald Trump are running away from the crown jewel in their, in the prize of being a Republican president, which was overturning Roe v. Wade and having your appointed justices do just that, tells you everything you need to know about how unpopular it was and how scared they are of their own freaking legacy. It's like, nah, you didn't do anything but make people's lives more dangerous. You restricted people's freedoms, and everyone is scared now. Of course you're not talking about it.
100%. Yeah. Of course, he's so stupid that he still occasionally brags about having put them on the court. Just because he needs the credit.
Sure.
It might doom his chances. And I hope that it does. It would be beautiful.
I mean, is he talking about the vaccine anymore, John? I love this. Like,
he did bring it up a little bit on Joe Rogan, because obviously Joe Rogan believes,
of course,
that the polio vaccine caused polio or something. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?